Hi guys, and welcome to my Amdapor Keep dungeon guide. I'm going to cover the boss tactics and strategy for each stage of the dungeon and hopefully remember all of them so that your next run will become as smooth as silk. I hope you will enjoy. So the first boss is the Lunatic Priest and the Psych Flare. At the start you will only see the priest, yet at 50% health he will spawn a main boss, which is the Psych Flare. But the priest does some nasty AoE attacks, so focus him down first before turning your focus on the Psych Flare. Throughout the fight, the Psych Flare will spawn these golem adds, which does a frontal cone AoE that hurts like hell. So keep your DPS priority on them at all costs, before going back to the boss himself. Eventually, the boss will summon a giant golem, which will walk back and forth into the room, spamming huge ass AoEs that you gotta stay out of, unless you want to wipe and spend a ton of money on repairs. So pull the Psych Flyer into the either right or the left side of the room, so the large golem's AoEs is easily dodged. So all in all, this fight is pretty simple. Kill the priest first, then the smaller golem the Psych Flyer spawns. And as always, if you avoid stepping in shit on the ground, everything should go just fine. The second boss is the Demon Wall. The boss that makes randoms in pugs cry and rage quit, as this is dungeon's hardest boss of the three. It's a huge DPS race and everyone has to do their jobs without fail to get through this. The boss does not need to be tanked, as he randomly targets players in the party and does a range attack. And he will move closer and closer to the opposite side of the room with time, so if your DPS is not quick and good enough, you will fail. He will also place void zones on the ground in front of him that reaches all the way back to the entrance that needs to be avoided fast. First a line in the middle, then two at each side. After he has done this a total of 2 times, he will cast Repel, which is a frontal AoE push that affects all the members of your party. And this will throw you backwards, so stand directly in front of him, or you will be pushed out of the edge of the platform you're standing on and you will instantly die. And he will continue to do this rotation all the way until his health is at 50%, and this is when he will spawn 1 add at each side of him. These can't be tanked all that easily, so the DPS should always focus on one of them 100% before engaging the other. Limit breaks from melee DPS is also a perfect way to get rid of the focused add fast, just like I did in the video. The ants will do some annoying AoEs that also has to be avoided, as well as the void zones. So stay focused and remember the pattern of the void zones while DPSing and killing them. The demon wall fight might take a few tries before you clear it perfectly, but as long as you remember the void zone patterns and to stand directly in front of him while he casts repel, the fight is pretty easy. The third boss is pretty easy as long as everyone does what they're supposed to do. But one mistake on part of it and it will instantly kill you or ruin the whole fight for your team. The boss should be tanked behind the statue at the back of the room, as he has a pretty nasty and large tail swipe AoE that he does if he detects anyone behind him. So try and DPS him from the side if you are melee. His main ability, called Imminent Catastrophe, is a huge AoE blast that happens in the middle of the room. When the boss casts this, you have to run and hide behind one of the statue pillars to avoid the massive damage taken from it. And after each time he uses Imminent Catastrophe, one of the statues will come to life and become an ad, which is very important to nuke down fast. At 50% health, he will start to randomly target players in the party with a large purple beam. And the target will have to run away from the party fast, as it will spawn a huge purple orb at the end of it that continuously does AoE blast around it until it despawns. If you fail to run away far enough from the group and place our orb close to where the boss is, the fight is usually lost as there's no way to remove it and it will keep AoE damaging your party. And that's the end of the third and final boss of Amdapor Keep. Even though I almost failed a bit in the end there, we were still able to do the boss in one go. So I wish you all the best of luck and see you in game!